All right, let's now shift our attention to Afghanistan. Over the last 3 days, the country has been gripped by a wave of violence. There have been multiple bomb blasts and shooting incidents that have been reported from across the country. At least about 8 people have been killed after a gunman opened fire at a mosque north of Kabul on Tuesday. The gunman reportedly stormed into the mosque while the worshippers were offering their evening prayers. The 5 mosque-goers were wounded in this attack. The local police say that the attack was carried out by the Taliban. And a similar attack was also reported from the eastern Kunar province as well. 2 people were killed and 2 others wounded in an attack on worshippers who were offering prayers. This again took place in a mosque. And the Taliban also mounted an offensive to capture the strategic city of Kunduz in the northern part of the country. The Defense Ministry has announced that the Afghan forces had successfully repelled an attack by the Taliban fighters in the wee hours of Tuesday morning. The government also claims that as many as about 40 Taliban fighters were killed in that attack. 8 security personnel also lost their lives. And the insurgents also reportedly briefly managed to capture an army post in the city of Kunduz, but it was regained after many hours of intense fighting. Even the Afghan Air Force was called in to launch air strikes against the insurgent groups. Now, the strike partially damaged a clinic in the adjacent district of Chardara, but no casualties have been reported. Now, these pictures on your screens show the cache of weapons that has now been recovered by the Afghan forces after having repelled the insurgent forces. Now, Kunduz is a key city in Afghanistan and has been captured on 2 occasions by the Taliban in the past. And this particular conflict, it is being said, is essentially for the capture of Kunduz. And also WION's correspondent Mustafa Kazemi, who is presently in Kabul and is tracking the developments very closely for us, has sent us this report. Listen.
Unidentified gunmen entered a mosque in Charikar city of Parwan province close to Kabul and killed at least 8 people who were worshippers and 5 others just as they were trying to get ready to offer evening prayer after the iftar feast. The same incident happened in eastern Khost province where 2 worshippers in a mosque were killed and 2 others including a child were wounded. The Afghan government, the police confirms the incident and say that the Taliban are behind both of the attacks. The Taliban, however, reject that. Yesterday, a report by the United Nations blamed both Afghan government and the Taliban for increasing civilian casualties, but it said that compared to last year, the same time, Taliban's responsibility for civilian casualties have increased by 38%, which according to the United Nations is extremely worrisome. On the other side, the Afghan forces have been engaging the Taliban and other insurgents across Afghanistan, and according to recent figures shared with us by the Defense Ministry, at least 80 Taliban have been killed and more than 100 others have been wounded across Afghanistan in several operations and attacks and with the Afghan army and other forces.